basketball really has a place in my heart because it just lets me get rid of all my emotions, you know, the stresses of life, whatever. It's like when I'm on the court, all those stresses go away, and it's just me and the ball. The end of junior year, I went up from 12 points a game to 22 points a game. A bunch of assists went up, rebounding went up. Yeah, college ball has been my dream, of course. Ever since I was like 4, my father's a big Tar Heels fan, so I've always been a big North Carolina fan. That's my dream school. During the All-Star game, there was a coach that told me that 2 other coaches from different colleges, there's even a D2 coach, was going to be there to watch me, and I was really excited, of course. And that's kind of the main way I was going to get my notices and my exposure.
We like to tell our athletes to act medium. Don't let the highs affect them, don't let the lows affect them. Because if you start riding too high and you start feeling like you're invincible, that's most of the time when you're going to see something kind of bring you back to reality. So we do tell our athletes to stay in that medium level, even when things are going really, really well, saying, okay, what's causing them to go really well? How do I keep it going? But also realizing that it's not going to last forever.
So after my senior year, I was playing the Nationals. And the second game, I went up for a jump and I landed kind of awkward. It wasn't anything crazy, like I landed and twisted my leg over. 2 weeks, 3 weeks comes by. I'm outside jumping in my front yard, just playing on the mini hoop. And my mom overhears me say that my hip still hurts. I think she tells my father, and we go to the doctor. The doctor takes an x-ray and she just says it's a fracture. But she thinks that there's a little bit more there. So she sends me to the actual surgeon to get a better x-ray and an MRI. And that's when they find out that it's not just a hip flexor strain, and it's not just a fracture. There's more stuff. So I'm sitting in the doctor's office, the surgeon's office, of course, and he goes to take the x-ray, and he just comes out and he's like, okay, well, it's not just a fracture. It's an impingement. I remember walking down to my dad, because I was in the doctor's office by myself, called him on the phone. I could barely get the words out that I would need surgery. And I had to have the doctor tell him. And once I got back down to my father, I cried. I let it all out because I lost my true love.
But this one, when Justin broke the news, he's a pretty level-headed kid, but you can see the emotions kind of rain through. He obviously loves the game of basketball. That's what he likes to do. So you're going to talk about being brought down a little bit, but it goes back to that underdog mentality that he has. And when people started to write him off a little bit, you could see him doubling down through the rehab process. Make sure he was going to come back, not the same Justin, but a better Justin.
Surgery, when you get surgery, you feel helpless. You can't do anything. People think, oh, you can do something. No, you can't do anything. And I'm just sitting there, I'm like, wow, this really sucks. 2 weeks after my surgery, I finally got my brace off. My dad was like, well, here we go, back to the gym. And I was kind of reluctant. I was like, really? I just got off of surgery. He's like, well, you can either sit there and sulk and still be hurt, or you can get up and work while you're hurt. And that kind of lit a fire inside of me. It was like 3 months after my surgery. I was squatting with the little kettlebell, like 10 pounds. I sent my dad the video. I was pushing a sled of like 45 pounds, something minimal that just really just warmed my heart and was like, wow, I'm getting back. It wasn't anything crazy, it wasn't anything serious, but I was like, wow, I'm finally starting to get back.
If you watch him work out, there's no way you can deny the change that has happened in him over the past year. You go out there and watch him and you see, when we were talking about who we want to be our next athlete of the month, it was without a doubt, we looked at him and said, Justin needs to be that guy. Because his story and the way he works is so empowering and so encouraging to the people around him. He's just constantly in here getting better and does it with a smile on his face and just a genuinely great guy that cares about the people around him.
So now my strength gains in my legs are great. My hip feels 100%. I mean, my strength is out the roof. I'm jumping as high as I can. I'm as fast as I can. I'm stronger than ever. And that's just because I just stayed with it. If I could tell the injured Justin one thing, I'd probably tell him, remember this. Let it light a fire inside of you. Because when you're under that squat rack, it's gonna hurt, but you gotta have something to push you up.
And you control the narrative. You can't control where you're at currently, but you can control where you end up. So if you're willing to put in the time, fall in love with that journey, fall in love with that process, honor the hustle, you can come on the other side, great. You just gotta move your feet. And it's okay to be upset. It's okay to be down, but you can't stay there. Winners rise. Everybody fails, but winners rise.